Welcome back to the Wisconsin High School Esports Association Week 5. Got a doubleheader today. Able to jump in with Horlick versus Rock U. So getting right into the lobby here. On the left is Horlick, and on the right, on the red side, is going to be Rock U. Both teams coming out right away. We're going to see a Yasuo ban and a Lucian ban. Going to see an Alawi ban coming out here as well from Horlick. I wonder if they did their scouting report here to double check to see what Rock U plays. Going to see a Lysandra ban as well coming out of Rock U. And let's see how Horlick's going to go ahead and decide to finish out their ban phase here. Going to go ahead and see a Kane ban coming out as well. And going to go ahead and see a Jax ban coming out of Rock U in order to finish off the first ban phase. And right away, we're going to go ahead and see Horlick banning in, or locking in a cap mid. So kind of interesting there. If we do look at both of these schools here, this is going to be Janesville's first recorded game here, whereas Horlick is sitting at 0-3 right now. So one of these schools is going to be able to get their first win here. So Rock U is going to go ahead and lock in a Vayne. Pretty good pick right now given the current critical strike meta. Going to go ahead and see a Nasus top lane pick coming in as well. Pretty powerful pick right now in the current meta. We see a lot of Nasus coming out in solo queue. Don't often see it all the time in team compositions just because it is a really good split push, but it's not necessarily super great for team compositions. But we'll see how it works here. Horlick's going to go ahead and lock in a Shen and Caitlyn as well in order to round out their first round of picks here. And how will Rock U finish out their pick phase? Looking like a Malzahar mid, so got their ADC top and mid already picked. So just looking for a jungle and support. Now for Horlick there on the left, Shen can be flexed to top or support. See the Sejuani band coming out here.
You too will be judged.
A Morgana band coming. And Rock U is going to go ahead and finish the ban phase. I would focus on junglers if I were them personally. And they're going to go ahead and get rid of a Blitzcrank. So curious to see if they know where the Shen's going. If they know that they could transfer the Shen up to top or flex it, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and see a Yi jungle ban. Right now in solo queue, it's kind of interesting. Karthus is the #1 jungler. Evelyn, Nidalee, and Elise rounding out the top 4 with a Jarvan coming in 5th. Personally, the one that I see the most play out of all those in the top 5 is Jarvan, especially in team composition. You have that really good engage, you have that CC, and then you have that the ulti that comes down there as well. Going to see a Lulu pick coming in for Rock U for the support. And a Fiddlesticks. I'm guessing that's going to be Fiddlesticks support, although could be Fiddlesticks jungle as well. So it's going to be a Fiddlesticks jungle, so kind of interesting. Not a ton of AD. The Rammus pick is gonna be interesting, especially for the early game against Caitlyn. If he's able to taunt that Caitlyn and he gets a Bramble Vest, he might be able to just go ahead and let Caitlyn just kind of kill herself, basically. Got a real squishy team comp there for Horlick. Got kind of the two tanks there with Nasus and Rammus. The biggest thing is how is Horlick going to deal with this Nasus, right? If Nasus finishes, say, a Triforce or a Spirit Visage, it's going to be nearly impossible for them in order to get the AP damage down in order to deal with Nasus, because they're going to have to basically send Caitlin and I'm guessing Lux, basically, wherever Nasus goes, in order to try to hold them off at base, while then the rest of your team is able to just kind of focus on the rest of the map. So I'll be curious to see how Horlick plays this out. A lot of early game damage, though, from Horlick. So that's going to be something that they can use to their advantage, get some of those early kills down, get that early lead in lane, and maybe even get themselves first tower. So I saw, let's see here, we streamed Horlick's first match, if I'm not mistaken, in week 1. So I'll be curious to see how they've progressed here. Yeah, we streamed Case High School against Horlick. So we're going to see how Horlick's been able to kind of grow here. They've had to play they've had to play Bayport. They've had to play Wausau West. And then, let's see here. And then who did Horlick have to play? And then they had to play Wilmot. So they've had a tough schedule so far. So, I mean, I think they've had to reschedule their Bayport game, if I'm not mistaken. But Wausau West is a very tough school. Wilmot is a pretty tough school as well. So they've not had an easy start to their semester. So we'll have to see how they've progressed along. Let's see here. Janesville. I believe they had to reschedule against Milton. Since there's no match results, I would assume that they've had to reschedule all of their games here. So they've had to play against Wausau West, or were scheduled to. They were scheduled to play against Bayport. And they were scheduled to play against Waterford. So, again, that's not an easy opening 4 weeks there. So, be kind of curious to see what this Rock U team is capable of doing. So. Looks like we got some week 5 results coming in. Looks like Milton was over Muskego. Cedarburg beat Waterford, and Wilmot was able to beat Bayport today as well. So some match results starting to come in. I know Arrowhead had to reschedule against Case because of some of the ACT issues. But I'm glad to see that we were able to get some of these games underway here. So. Again, so on the last stream that I did too, promoted there's a tournament coming up here for St. Ambrose. So make sure you check out the Discord channel. I try to post a ton of these opportunities, these tournaments that are coming up, and try to promote them as much as possible. The St. Ambrose tournament, they're giving away $12,500 worth of scholarships, and the winning team actually gets a set of Respawn gaming chairs. I am currently using a Respawn gaming chair, and I can tell you they are fantastic chairs. I really love my Respawn chairs. So if you ever get an opportunity, I always say check out some of these tournaments, check out some of the local scenes. Really cool opportunities. Another one that's coming up too is up at Game On in Fond du Lac. March 1st through the 10th, they're hosting, it's a combine basically. So you can show up any of those days and go up and play. And basically all you do is you play a couple of games. And GYO, it's a company that uses like data collection. They collect a little bit of information on players and play styles and stuff like that. And they're trying to use it so it's a way that professional organizations can scout out some of these hidden gem players, right? So Talking with like collegiate coaches, they're often talking about how like, you know, a lot of the diamond level players are really egotistical. They're not great at team play and stuff like that. And some of these collegiate coaches are like, yeah, I'd much rather have like silver players because they're coachable. They listen to team strategies. They are willing to work together and stuff like that. So this combine is to try to help colleges and professional organizations find some of those quote unquote diamonds in the rough. So check it out. If you're interested, shoot me a message on the Discord channel. I have a bunch of coupons actually that you can use at Game On and get a little bit of a discount if you want to go up and check it out. You can also see where the state championship is going to be held. So the semifinals and the finals will be hosted at Game On in Fond du Lac on April 13th. So working on getting some of that finalized. But we'll focus in here on the game. It looks like Fiddlesticks elects to go for blue. Going to go ahead and get a leash from his top laner as well there. And Rammus is going to go ahead and get a leash coming from the Lulu and Caitlyn as well. So the Vayne and Lulu are, going to be a little bit of at a CS disadvantage now in the bot lane just because of providing that leash. And Shen is then also going to be in the CS deficit against Nasus kind of early on, which not super great, especially for Shen, because that means Nasus is probably going to be able to get like 2 or 3 stacks early on his Q, and that's how Nasus just really starts to snowball, especially in the early game. Get a dozen or so stacks on your Q, and you're going to start doing some serious damage up there in the top lane. Mal's did elect to go for the Doran's Ring. A little bit different here. Going to go ahead and see the flash coming out of Caitlyn. The level 2 gank coming in. I don't know if this is going to be enough. The flash for it. Vayne is able to go ahead and secure the first kill. So that was pretty good gank down there for Rock U. Nasus dealing some of that, dishing out some of that damage there on Shen early game. I believe he just missed the cannon minion there. Nasus already up to 21 stacks, looking at 24 now. So that's a pretty good early game right there out of Nasus. Going to be able to get quite a bit of damage down on this Shen. So Shen's going to have to play passive. But again, looking at the mid there, Malzahar elects to go for Doran's Ring, while Cat elects to go for the shield. So Cat, usually a pretty heavy AP champion, so kind of interesting that elects to go for the shield to give a little bit more sustain in lane. And now Malzahar just backed and going to go ahead and get a double Doran's Ring going here and is sitting on 4 potions. Nasus just trying to bully Shen off some of the CS here so that he's not able to get the last hits there. Already got quite a bit of a CS advantage here. Looking at about 15, almost 20 advantage in the top lane there for Nasus. The Vayne has a little bit of a CS advantage over Caitlyn, which should make sense with the first blood going over to Vayne. Vayne did use flash. Might have been able to get the kill without using the flash, but you know, securing that first blood gold usually worth the flash in there. So Caitlyn did use her flash in order to try to get out of that skirmish. Do you see Nasus and Shen going back and forth here? Nasus might need to be careful here. Don't underestimate Shen's ability in order to dish some damage out in the early game. I would imagine Nasus is just going to try to wait for all of his cooldowns to come back up and could try to make a play there, but he is almost out of mana, so I don't think he's going to be able to get his combo off, given how much mana he has up there in the top lane. Do you see Rammus trying to come up, put a little pressure down on Shen. Shen doesn't have to use anything there. I'll be curious to see this Fiddlesticks almost 2 levels behind here at this point. And he's starting to get some of his jungle here stolen from him. Fiddlesticks should use his fear right now. Oh, elects to not go for the fear. Could have gotten it. But it does look like a little bit of a rotation coming up here. Fiddlesticks trying to get this Scuttle Crab here. But Rammus is right there as well. So Horlick's going to have to decide if they want to try to commit to this. Ooh, do get the silence down on Ramus. They got 3 players right there. I think Horlick should go for this one. But it looks like they're just going to go ahead, play passive, give it up, and let Rock U get that top scuttle crab there. Closing in on the 7-minute mark here, and Rock U's got a 1.5k gold lead already. And I would imagine a lot of that CS differential is number 1 coming up in the top lane. Nasus has a little bit of an advantage. But Malzahar here also has a 20 CS advantage in mid. So that's a pretty big advantage for sitting at about 6.5 minutes. Do see that Nasus back does have the sheen there. So going to go ahead and start with the Triforce. Does have 2 stacks on his trinket there. Same with Vayne. Especially in the early game, I always recommend that you get a little bit of vision down. Try to get some there in the river, especially for top lane here. As Shen is going to get dove right here. And that's going to be the ultimate coming down from Nasus. Nasus is going to go ahead and get the stack. Slams down on the Q, gets the kill. And that's going to be Shen having to go back to Fountain here and reset. Shen does finish part of the what I would imagine is going to be the Sunfire Cape and to get a little health regen. But again, if Shen had pushed past the river there, so when you're pushed past the river and you're sitting right here, you should almost always have this bush warded, or if you want to be kind of cheeky, come down here, place a ward down here, so that way then you can at least have a little bit deeper vision in the river, because when you're pushed up, you're susceptible to ganks there. So always make sure that you have vision. Shen did go ahead and use flash in order to try to get out of that. Kind of a tough situation. I mean, I would say that you don't need to flash out of that. When you're pushed up that far, it's most likely going to be a certain kill coming over. Nasus trying to put some damage down, is able to go ahead and get that first turret plate. Shen trying to throw down some damage on Nasus there, as Nasus is starting to get even further ahead, looking at quite a few stacks there on Nasus, already doing an additional 135 damage. I just now noticed too that Lux didn't go with the support item, so that means Lux is going to be needing to get a lot of CS, so you should have really started with the Spell Thief like Lulu there. Ooh, Cat's just able to go ahead and get away. Gonna go for it, and it's going to be a mutual kill there. So I'm going to go ahead and say well played there, given how much of a fraction of a life that they had. Fiddlesticks is going to go ahead and get caught out by Ramus here, and Ramus is going to go ahead and get the kill there on Fiddlesticks. But anyways, for Horlick here, Lux really needs this Spell Thief, right? Because every time that you hit the enemy laner, you get gold. And so that's really, really important there. Because as a support, you shouldn't be taking a lot of CS there from your laner, right? You want your ADC to get all the gold, if possible. Going to see a little bit of a trade here. Ramus just gets away. Caitlyn and Vayne both able to go ahead and secure a kill. Both supports going down. And Shen looks like he used his ultimate in order to come down to the bot lane here. Caitlyn's going to go ahead and clear out this control ward. So again, Lux now has completed a lost chapter, but it's going to be really hard for Lux to complete any item with no sort of like gold income coming in, because Caitlyn's going to need to get as much CS as possible, as she's already falling about 35 CS behind the Vayne there, as Vayne's got the completed Bork. And that's going to be quite a bit of an advantage there for Vayne in lane now against Caitlyn. Caitlyn does have the completed BF sword, but there's only so much that's going to be able to do. Ramus trying to put a little pressure there in on Kate. not able to do too much. Fiddlesticks looking to go for Gromp here. Although the CS is really, really close here for Rammus and Fiddlesticks, Fiddlesticks just trying to look for the right lane to come and gank here. I think Fiddlesticks needs to go top here in order to get the gank on Nasus. Nasus is putting a ton of that pressure on Shen up in the top lane. And for Fiddlesticks, if you can clear this ward here, you could easily then use your ultimate, jump into the line there, jump into the lane, and just fear and just throw down the damage there. But coming bot side here could also be really advantageous. Lux is going to get polymorphed and get caught out, and Vayne's got the damage here in order to secure the kill. The Lulu ultimate coming down. Again, a tip that I try to promote quite a bit while streaming here, especially because I don't know how long some of these players have been playing the game, but pick one role and really stick with it. A lot of students that I've seen over the last year and a half coming into the Wisconsin High School Esports Association is that they jump around from lane to lane, or they play champions that, yeah, they've played once or twice maybe in a normal game or something like that. But in team composition, it's a huge difference the champions that you pick, right? If you're, playing solo queue and you're trying to climb the ladder, you may pick something like, you could pick like a Darius or something like that. But when you're playing team composition, a Shen here is super vital because you got the CC, you got the global ulti, right? Nasus is kind of interesting in this team comp because the split push that he provides for the team composition is a big difference here, and that requires the enemy team in order to send one or two players in order to really have to deal with you split pushing your lane, which is a huge difference. We see the Rammus coming in, drops the taunt here. Vayne's got the damage, and Rammus has the health there in order to take a couple turret shots in order to help his ADC secure that kill and getting that Vayne to 4-0. But once you pick a role for League of Legends, say for jungle, find about, I would call it 3 to 4 champions to play and really hone those champions in. So when I first started playing, I picked up support, and I play a ton of Nautilus, Alistar, and a couple of others. That was a really good play there by Cat in the mid in order to secure that kill on Malzahar. So pretty good play there. Seeing some of these turret plates going down here as well. The bot lane here for Rock U is getting pretty far ahead here. Looking at almost double the CS for Vayne compared to Caitlyn. And then Lux trying to build some items here. But again, with only 25 CS, if you figure, 25 times 14 for a minion, maybe call it 18. It's hard to buy a lot of items when that's all the CS that you're getting. Whereas with Lux, you have a lot of that splash with a couple of your abilities that allow you to get some of that additional gold there. Nasus doubling the CS as well of Shen up top there. So quite a bit is starting to snowball now in the favor of Rock U. Really the only lane right now that Horlick has going for him is mid. Nasus looking to chase down this Shen here. Given the amount of armor there that Nasus has, I do believe that Nasus could probably chase down Shen here if he really wanted to and really 1v1 that situation. Rammus completes he's got the Swifties there, and it looks like he's starting to build a little bit of armor. I would imagine armor is pretty good against both Caitlyn and Kat there, based upon their current builds. And right now, Fiddlesticks still without boots, and Lux not really able to get any sort of big AP damage with the current CS. So kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there. I'll be curious too. I didn't check, but I don't believe so. I don't believe that Rammus took Predator. So kind of interesting. Elects to go for, it looks like Aftershock, so goes for a little bit more of a tanky kind of build with some regen in there too. So Rammus going in on this Fiddlesticks, probably got the damage here, does have the damage, but now kind of getting caught out there by Cat. It is warded, so they're going to go ahead and clear out the ward. Cat feeling a little risky there. I don't recommend face checking the bush, but I think she's going to go for it. She's dropping the sword, plays it smart, elects to walk away. But we do see Rammus coming in. Cat's going to go ahead and flash under tower. There's going to be some damage coming down here. Cat's trying to get some damage down, but not enough is going to be able to come down with 4 members of Rock U mid. Vayne able to go ahead and dive that turret for the Caitlyn. Nasus smashes the mid turret there. Got a decent sized wave here coming mid and got enough members. I think that Rock U is going to be able to go ahead and get this tier 2 turret. Nasus just smashing away there, looking at about 360 additional damage coming off of his Q. So that's a big chunk of damage there coming down. So Nasus able to just, with Demolish there, can almost get like 2 or 3 stacks in order just to smash a turret all the way down. Shen gets pulled dangerously close to the end of his life here, and it looks like Rock U is going to be pushing here. There's that Demolish. Nasus able to go ahead and secure another turret. And right now, the way that Nasus is pushing, they might be looking to go ahead and get this inhib. Nasus flashes forward, not quite able to go ahead and get it, but he's going to be too overzealous here, and that's going to be the shutdown going over to Fiddlesticks. We do see the Lux ultimate, and then there's a Cat ultimate too. Oh boy, that was a good turn there for Horlick. They really needed that team fight to go in their favor. But while they're fighting there, we see Rammus and Vayne getting Shelly. Probably going to be able to go ahead and secure Shelly here. Got a couple of minutes left that they can actually use Shelly to their advantage. If they really wanted to put a ton of pressure here on Horlick, they could probably just drop Shelly in mid with this wave that's pushing. Or they could look to go bot and probably push for 1 or 2 towers there. So Rammus kind of out in a weird spot here. Going to go ahead and get feared. The Shen, the taunt's coming down. I don't think Fiddlesticks has enough magic penetration in order to really get through Rammus there. Rammus has quite a bit of assists and everything. Uh-oh. Here comes Rammus. And right behind Rammus is Vayne. And Vayne's just going to be dealing the damage there. Shen's going to go ahead and get caught out. Here comes another knockup by Rammus. The Cat ultimate coming in. The Lulu clutch ultimate coming in on Vayne. And I think that's going to be another kill coming over. The triple kill? No, actually, sorry. Lulu got the kill on Cat. Otherwise, that would have been a triple kill for Vayne. So now there's a ton of pressure here. Rammus is down. That's about the only positive thing that really came out of that exchange. Nasus just able to just take about 70% of Caitlyn's health with 1 Q. So the positive thing out of that for Horlick is that Rammus was down, not able to drop Shelly down there. But it does look like Malzahar is able to go ahead and secure that inhib. Oh, that might be a wasted TP here. Yep, Rocky was able to go ahead and secure the turret. And that's also then going to go ahead and cost Shen his TP. Cat's trying to get in there. Going to go ahead and get suppressed and polymorphed. And the CC train is real. And Vayne is just on a tear right now. Able to just do so much damage. Here comes Shelly. Shelly's coming down mid. And I believe there's a wave coming too that's potentially got super minions. Oh, Fiddlesticks needs to be really careful here. Doesn't know that it's warded, and Vayne and Malzahar just able to go ahead and shoot over the wall there. Rammus, CC, and Shen here. This could be an ace coming down, and I do believe that that is potentially going to be game. I think Rock U's got enough damage here. They got Shelly. We are going to see a dancing Rift Herald here. That's going to be enough damage. And here comes the game. Rock U is able to go ahead and secure it and get the dancing Shelly. So, well played there by Rock U. Looked pretty confident in their victory there. That bot lane got ahead early and often. So, congrats on their first win. So congratulations there again to Rock You on getting the victory. Tune in next week. I should be here. I'm hoping to be able to stream tomorrow as well. I know on the stream I have Hillsborough versus Wausau West. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm home so I can stream some JV action tomorrow. But next week is going to be Montello against Tosa on stream. So cross your fingers, pray to whatever you want, and hope that we don't have a snow day, we don't have ACTs, and we have nothing in our way, and we can finally stream some games on a regular basis. So otherwise, have a good night, and see you tomorrow or see you next week.